The punishment for taking out an old coin was the blood of an entire family. And the worst part, the thing that started this curse has never been caught. If you listen to today's story to the end, you will be shocked by every word as you fall asleep at night. Welcome back. Welcome everyone. I'm David. I hope everyone is well. Today's story comes from a secret audio clip. Names have been changed for security. Let's get started. In southern Louisiana, far from New Orleans, there is a secluded Bayou village. Thick cypress trees surround it, gray moss hanging from the branches, swaying in the wind as if whispering. At night, a thin fog falls over the swamp, through which no distant light can be seen. Here lived Jacob Reed, a fisherman by profession, a soft-hearted man whose family relied on the river. One of the people close to him was Elijah Thibodeau, known to the locals as the Root Doctor, as someone everyone respected, but no one fully trusted. That night was near the new moon. No moon, no stars, just thick darkness, the smell of wet earth in the air. The distant call of an owl stopped, and then a silence descended, so that even your own breath could be heard in your ears. As the boat reached the edge of the canal, Elijah stopped suddenly. He reached out into the darkness and said, "Jacob, I have a coin lying there. Bring me some." Jacob dipped his hand into the mud without thinking. His fingers felt a cold, heavy metal. He picked up the coin, unusually heavy, with markings carved on it that he had never seen before. Without asking any questions, he handed it to Elijah. After work, Jacob returned home before dawn. He lay down on his bed, exhausted. In the morning, Jacob's wife, Mary, came into the room and stopped. Jacob was sitting on the bed, his eyes unusually large, unblinking. "Jacob, are you okay?" Mary asked in a trembling voice. No answer came. Only a language that Mary had never heard in her life came out of her mouth. She later said, "That was my husband's voice, but those were not the words of a human being." The news spread in an instant through the village. People gathered in the courtyard. A preacher-healer from the village was called. But after entering the house, he looked at Jacob's fixed gaze and stepped back towards the door. "It's out of my hands," he said, "only this," and left. Jacob was taken to the hospital. 3 days passed, no change came. The doctors could not give any explanation. The family was forced to bring him home again. Surprisingly, in the 2 days after returning home, Jacob became completely calm. The terrible vision in his eyes seemed to have subsided. He ate rice, drank water, and even once called his younger brother Thomas by name. That night, Thomas told his brother, You're back, brother. I knew you'd come back." The whole family seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. It seemed that the danger was passing. But on the third night, right in the middle of the night, everyone was awakened by a sound, as if someone was hitting the tin fence outside with something heavy, slowly, in a regular rhythm. Knock, knock, knock. Entering Jacob's room, Thomas saw his brother sitting on the bed, looking straight at the door, an unfamiliar smile at the corner of his lips. Thomas later said, "I will never forget that smile for the rest of my life. That wasn't my brother's smile." From that night on, everything became more terrifying than ever. It was exactly midnight. Blankets were spread out in the yard. 2 men were seated facing each other. One, a representative of the Root Doctor. The other, as if the spokesman for the power in Jacob's body. The argument began. Suddenly, a voice came out of the man's throat that could not be human. Deep, broken, as if coming from under the ground. "I will not leave Jacob. He has been unfaithful to me. I will take him with me." Thomas shouted, "What harm has he done? Tell me." There was no answer, only a long, cold silence. Jacob Reed died that night. After the burial, a new panic began in the house. Heavy earthen lumps began to fall from the night sky onto the tin roof and the yard. The sound woke the whole house, but in the morning it was seen, not a scratch on anyone. A few weeks later, the same symptoms appeared in Thomas's wife Sally. The family called a famous root doctor from afar. This time, the power itself revealed the truth. Jacob had taken an ancient, priceless coin that night, which had been its own property for centuries. In anger, it vowed to wipe out the entire race. "I took Jacob. Now I'll take Sally. If you dare to stop me, stop." Thomas had fallen on his knees in the yard that day. Later he said, "I knew she was telling the truth. I saw it in his eyes." A few days later, Sally really died, despite all efforts. Then the power noticed Jacob's teenage nephew Daniel. The boy started to stay up all night and eat an unusual amount of rice and water, as if something inside him was emptying him. A local preacher came and started treating him. After a few days, he directly informed him, "If you keep the boy in this house, he won't be saved either. You have to send him away now." Daniel was quickly sent to a distant city, but the same symptoms began to appear in the rest of the family, as if a curse was running through their blood. The preacher concluded, Only the prayers of pious people can save this family. Otherwise, there is no other way but to find Elijah Thibodeau." The family sent people to Elijah's house. When they arrived, everyone was stunned by what they saw. A room about 40 feet long was behind the house. No furniture, just a lot of yellowed papers scattered on the floor. Strange markings on the walls, as if someone had been keeping some kind of record for many years. Thomas stood in that room and said, "I knew right away that this room was not just a root doctor. He's been looking for something for a long time." Elijah Thibodeau had disappeared by then. Rumor has it that he's living in another state under a new name and has become rich overnight by selling the ancient coin. The real question remains unanswered. Did Elijah know about the coin's curse? Or did he deliberately let Jacob pick it up so that the curse wouldn't fall on him and on Jacob's family? Even today, when fishing at night along that bayou, locals say there's a low metallic sound coming from under the water, as if someone was searching for something. Some say that another coin, along with that coin, is still lying in the mud, waiting for the next pair of hands. So, if someone ever whispers in the dark, "Get that thing out of there," I have one thing to say: roll up your sleeves and come back as soon as you can. If the story really creeps you out, like the video now, write in the comments. Would you have reached out in the dark, or would you have come back? And subscribe and turn on the bell icon to get more stories like this. Good luck, everyone. I'm David.